This is your AI personal assistant, and it is bonkers. I am absolutely shook up from this. This is an amazing advancement in AI and ChatGPT. What I'm about to show you is called Auto-GPT, and you can imagine it as if it's your own personal assistant that can go off and run errands with its own self-sufficiency to create graphics, to create video scripts, prepare graphs, set marketing plans, all the rest of it. So let's just quickly run through it, get it up and running on your machine, and then you go nuts, because this is nuts. You're going to have to want Python installed, and you're going to want Docker installed. Go off and install those things, get them downloaded, and then we'll talk about it whilst those download. The next thing you're going to want to do is go to this GitHub repo. I'll of course leave a link in the description below, and you're going to want to clone this repo. So what I want to do, I'll get my terminal up and git clone this repo. We'll let it do its thing, and if we cd into that and open that in code, you're going to want Docker running. So I've got Docker running, and you're just going to leave that open. You're then going to want to go into your env template here, duplicate that just in case you mess around with it. So I'm just going to duplicate this, copy and paste, and then rename that to just env. Right, and the only thing you're going to want to do is place your OpenAI key inside of this variable here. Now, it works so much better with GPT-4. If you have GPT-4, that's brilliant. You're not going to have the best results with GPT 3.5 Turbo. I have GPT-4, and I'm getting some promising results. Now, I'll preface everything now by just saying that this is not perfect. It's a growing system, but it gets me excited about where it might be going. So you're going to want to put your API key in, but just so we just go through here and give you an idea of the sort of stuff you might need, you can obviously have your own Azure deployment of ChatGPT. You've got Pinecone for obviously having embeddings and storing embeddings, various things like that. Redis for caching and stuff. We've got DALL-E for obviously image creation if it needs to go off and create images. We have the Google API for searching, and then 11 Labs, which, if you don't know, it's an AI voice generation software, which again I have, but I haven't tried all this out. But it just gives you an idea of what Auto-GPT can go off and do, basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put my API key in here, and then we'll crack on with the rest of the tutorial. So I'm going to open up a terminal down here, and the next command you're going to give it is pip install requirements.txt, and this is going to run through all of that stuff to install all of the dependencies that it needs for this project. And believe it or not, that is it. And we're going to run a final command called python scripts main.py, and we're going to give it a continuous flag. You can remove the continuous flag, but ultimately what the continuous flag will do, it will give it self independent. So if it encounters a problem that in one of its tasks that you give it, then it will try and work around it without you having to intervene. So continuous is a good prompt to give it, but it's also worth noting that start off maybe by not doing the continuous route, get a feel for it, but watch it while it's doing its thing, whilst you've sent it off to do a task. So we're going to hit that, and it's going to ask me a bunch of questions. It's going to give it a name, so I'm just going to give it a name of AI. Describe your agent's role. So what is it going to do? It's going to grow my YouTube channel. So there we go, we're going to give it a set of goals now, and there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can either use it to help you identify a set of goals, or if you have a set number of tasks in mind, you can put those here. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go find recent trending searches regarding Webflow. Let's just do that as goal number 1. Generate YouTube video ideas based on popular search topics. Okay. This is going to work because I'm put on all the things. We're just going to do a demo, and I'm going to show you just roughly how it's kind of working. But for argument's sake, create thumbnails based on video ideas, and finally create scripts on video ideas. Right, that's an example of something you can give it, and then you can leave it empty if you don't want to do anything, if that's it. And now it's just going to go off and do those tasks. It's fantastic. And if it encounters problems, and I've done this specifically, things that I haven't got API keys for, it will encounter issues and it will try and resolve them and get around them by contacting customer services, using forums, and understanding what's going to help it achieve certain things. So what do we got here? This is what I want to show you. It's encountered a problem because it doesn't have the Google search API key. Now I actually have one that I can give it, but it's going to now go off and look at forums and things like that to try and find an API key or generate an API key or something. And it's worth looking, in fact, let's just pause that now. It's worth looking at some of the thoughts and things that is going through its head. So it's gone, the system's gone off, and it's encountered a 400 because it doesn't have an API key. The API key is necessary for me to perform a Google search. Without an API key, I won't be able to proceed. So now it's got a new plan. It's going to generate a new plan. Get a valid API key from the official Google API console. Use the valid API key to perform the Google search. Now this is to do with finding the trending topics and things like that I gave it to generate YouTube videos, basically. Criticism: I should have ensured that a valid API key was available before proceeding with a Google search. In the future, I should manage the API keys to avoid delays in tasks. So, of course, it's going to probably now look inside of the API, the environment variables, and check that it's got the relative API keys. And then you've got what we've got here, the next action. Then it's going to perform the next action. Using the Google search bar is a good alternative to performing a Google search, since it doesn't require an API key. Just bonkers. I'm like super excited about this, as you could probably tell. I think it's such an easy thing to get up and running. I'd love to see a UI or something like that developed for it. It might be quite nice to just be able to interact with it or save or whatever. But this is your AI personal assistant, and it is bonkers. So kudos to Torrentulino. You've done a good thing here. Really excited about the prospects of this. So if you want to follow along with me interacting with this tool or any other kind of video ideas that I make, then do follow. Join my Discord, where we chat about all things related to web development and AI. And until next time, kick ass.